If you have a child between 6 and 60 months who seems more anxious than other kids, more clingy, more cautious, slower to warm up, I want you to hear something that might change how you see them. Research on temperament is clear. Some children are born with a nervous system that detects threat faster and reacts more intensely. But here's what most parenting advice gets wrong. That sensitivity is not a weakness your child needs to outgrow. It's a trait that, when supported well, predicts higher empathy, deeper focus, and stronger self-regulation by age 5 or 6. Your child isn't broken. Their nervous system is simply reading the world at a higher resolution. Let's talk about what the data shows, so you know this isn't opinion. Jerome Kagan at Harvard studied 4-month-old infants and identified a group he called high-reactive, about 20% of babies who responded to new stimuli with intense crying, back-arching, and high motor activity. When those same children were observed at 14 months, 24 months, and again at 48 months, the pattern remained. They were more cautious, more hesitant with strangers, and showed heightened physiological arousal, measured through heart rate, cortisol, and pupil dilation, than their low-reactive peers. Kagan and Nathan Fox at the University of Maryland later showed that this inhibited temperament is one of the strongest early predictors of later anxiety, particularly social anxiety, with effects visible by 14 to 24 months. The amygdala in these children is not malfunctioning. It is calibrated to a different baseline, more vigilant, quicker to respond, slower to settle. It is the same neural machinery that, in the right environment, produces exceptional caution in risky situations and deep attunement to other people's emotions. Here is where the conventional narrative fails parents. We hear anxious child and think, fix it, calm them down, make them braver. But research on differential susceptibility, led by Jay Belsky and Michael Plous, shows that temperamentally sensitive children are not just more vulnerable to difficult environments, they are also more responsive to supportive ones. The same child who falls apart when rushed or pressured can, in a predictable and patient environment, develop self-regulation skills that outpace less sensitive peers by age 5. That means your parenting approach matters more for this child than for one with an easy temperament. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because their nervous system is built to absorb your calm more deeply. Every time you stay regulated during a meltdown, you are not just soothing them. You are literally rewiring the template their brain will use for stress regulation for the rest of their life. The question is not, how do I make my child less anxious? The question is, how do I build an environment where their sensitivity becomes an asset instead of a liability? Let's make this concrete, because the reframe only works if you know what to do on a Tuesday afternoon. Between 6 and 12 months, the intervention is purely environmental. Your job is not to expose your infant to more novelty to get them used to it. That often backfires with a high-reactive baby. Instead, reduce unpredictable stimulation, limit visitors, slow transitions, keep the sensory environment consistent, and let your child initiate engagement on their own timeline. When they look at a new object or person and then back at you, they are checking your face for a safety signal. Show calm. That single behavior, your face as their anchor, is the foundation of everything that follows. Between 12 and 36 months, separation anxiety peaks, and for a temperamentally anxious toddler, it can be intense enough to look like a disorder, when it is actually a predictable expression of a sensitive nervous system. The fastest way to help is to give them control over small, predictable decisions. Instead of saying, it is time to go to daycare, ask, do you want to carry your backpack or wear it? Do you want to walk or be carried to the car? Choice reduces the feeling of threat because the brain cannot be in high alert and making a decision at the same time. That is not a trick. It is a direct application of how the prefrontal cortex inhibits the amygdala. You are literally changing their brain state with a 2-second question. Between 36 and 60 months, the most powerful tool is something I call the two-sentence rule. When your 3 or 4-year-old is frozen with anxiety about a play date or new activity, they cannot process a long explanation. Their cognitive load is maxed out. So you say 2 sentences and stop. Sentence 1 names the feeling. Sentence 2 states your confidence and your plan. You are feeling nervous because this is new, and I am going to stay right here until you feel ready. Then you wait. The waiting is the intervention. If you fill the silence with more reassurance, you teach them that their anxiety needs your words to settle. If you sit quietly beside them, you teach them that they can regulate on their own with you as a secure base. That distinction is the difference between a child who learns to outgrow anxiety and one who learns to depend on you to manage it. Let me end with a sentence you might say to your child tonight. Not when they are dysregulated, but when they are calm, before bed or during a quiet moment. Say this: I noticed you were scared today, and I noticed that you kept trying. That is what brave looks like. Here is what makes that sentence work neurologically. It separates the child from the feeling. You are not your anxiety. It names the effort, not the outcome. You tried, whether or not the anxiety went away. And it redefines bravery as persistence in the presence of fear, not the absence of it. Your child may never be the easiest in the room. They may never be the first to try something new. But the research is clear. A temperamentally sensitive child, raised in an environment that matches their needs, can grow into an adult with remarkable emotional intelligence, deep relationships, and a capacity for self-reflection that the easy child never had to develop. You are not managing a deficit. You are shaping a temperament that, a few decades from now, someone will call wisdom.